Dallas Cowboys made it through Dak Prescott's injury with a 4-2 record, pretty much the best case scenario. Cooper Rush performed admirably, but the idea that there should have been any kind of quarterback controversy was always ridiculous. So even though the Cowboys lost, there's still a lot to be encouraged about. And in this video, we're going to break down the film and talk about 5 or 6 takeaways that I had from this game. My first take is that in a 2022 redraft, Tyler Smith would be my #1 offensive tackle. And I was a big fan of Tyler Smith as a prospect. I had him somewhere in the 20s. But the reason that I have him jumping Evan Neal, Charles Cross, and Ike Ekwonu is that Tyler Smith was supposed to be a project. When it comes to length, power, and movement ability, he was arguably the most athletic tackle in this class. You don't get drafted in the first round as a redshirt sophomore out of Tulsa unless your athletic traits are off the charts, but the technique was just a mess. And in his first year, he's been arguably the best rookie offensive tackle. The reason that I would have been hesitant to take Tyler Smith in the top 10 is that he might need 3 years before he develops into a good offensive tackle, and so you're wasting a lot of the value of a rookie contract. But now when I look at it, he's still got as high of a ceiling as everyone else, and he's still going to be a capable offensive tackle while he approaches his ceiling. This is a great use of the snatch trap technique. When Josh Sweat extends this left arm, you can see he's got his weight displacement forward, and so Tyler Smith takes advantage of that and kills the pass rush. This is a nice tray block on wide zone. I love seeing Tyler Smith on reach blocks and overtakes because it really maximizes his blend of power and movement ability. Tyler Smith's technique isn't perfect, and there are still some losses in pass protection on his tape, but they're not bad losses, and a lot of times he has the athleticism to recover pretty effectively. Right here, he can't really take a deep enough pass set because of Ezekiel Elliott's route behind him, so he gives up a little bit more to the outside than you would want, but the hand placement is still perfect. He's got his hands right under the armpits, and then you combine that with his balance and ability to shuffle his feet, and he has no problem recovering. Here he is matched up with Josh Sweat. He takes an angle set, so this slant inside is wide open, but Tyler Smith knows this, and he does a great job recovering and maintaining a clean pocket for Cooper Rush. I've been really impressed with his play strength as a run blocker. He has given up some pressure to bull rushes, but that doesn't have really much to do with power. It has more to do with footwork. That's one thing that he does need to clean up, just making sure that he's not clicking his heels and that he's given himself a wide enough base. But overall, Tyler Smith has been one of the most impressive rookies through the first 6 weeks. Sticking with the offensive line, I've highlighted Terence Steele a couple times on this channel, but his development over the past 3 years has been incredible to watch. Every single element of his game has improved each season. He's PFF's 14th highest graded offensive tackle right now, and he usually has 1 or 2 pancakes like this each game. I've heard some people say that Tyler Smith should play guard long term, but in my opinion, if you have 2 young offensive tackles that are playing at this high of a level, I don't think you mess that up. It's a lot easier to find a serviceable guard than it is to find a serviceable tackle. And so if I were in charge of constructing the Cowboys roster for the future, I would prioritize building around Tyler Smith and Terence Steele as my left and right tackle. Jake Ferguson had his best game of the year, 4 receptions for 40 yards and a touchdown on 6 targets. This is a really nice crossover move to evade the tackle on his first touchdown. Not sure that it was necessary, but it looks pretty cool. I want to co-sign this take from Voch Lombardi. Jake Ferguson to Dalton Schultz was about the easiest comparison from this past draft season. And Dalton Schultz is a solid tight end, but I think the Cowboys have done a really good job preparing for the future at that position. Ferguson still has a ways to go as a run blocker, but with him and Peyton Hendershot as the tight end too, I feel okay letting someone else pay Dalton Schultz. The Eagles beat Dallas twice with the exact same RPO. This first one is on 4th and 1. AJ Brown goes in return motion and Trayvon Diggs follows him, which indicates to Jalen Hurts that it's man coverage. The first element of this play is the read option, which forces Micah Parsons to squeeze inside and close off the C gap, and then it's all about creating traffic in the middle of the field so that Trayvon Diggs can't get over and cover this slide route from AJ Brown. But it's impossible to defend a play like this if you're not playing some sort of banjo or match coverage, and because you have AJ Brown on the left side of the formation, Anthony Brown's not focusing on passing off these routes, and then later in the game, Eagles are on the 15-yard line. They run the exact same play. This time Jordan Lewis is manned up on AJ Brown, but then once Brown gets set, Jordan Lewis completely sells out to defend the left side of the field, out leverages himself, and then this time the clear out from Devontae Smith doesn't even matter. Micah Parsons still has to respect the read option, and AJ Brown goes almost untouched into the end zone. Something like this happening once, I would lean towards blaming the player, but when it happens twice in the same game and within like 10 or 15 plays of each other, to me that's on the defensive coordinator for not making an adjustment. And then finally, I want to give a shout out to 2 Cowboys players that have gone a little bit under the radar. Number 1 is Osa Odigizua. In his second year, he's already Dallas's best defensive lineman. I talked about him and Terence Steele in this video from a couple weeks ago. Through the first 6 weeks, he has 15 pressures and 9 run stops, and he ranks 5th among defensive linemen with an 18% pass rush win rate. With undersized defensive linemen like this, it's kind of a coin flip as to whether or not they develop the play strength to hold up in the NFL, but Osa Odighizuwa has arrived, and he's only going to get better. And then the other player that I wanted to mention was Noah Brown. I've been really impressed with him this year. He does a lot as a run blocker. He isn't the focal point of Dallas's offense, but with Dak Prescott coming back from injury, I could see him getting a lot more production. He almost had this amazing touchdown catch, didn't get both feet inbound, so I'll give him half credit. But as a former 7th round pick, Noah Brown is in the midst of a breakout season. He's increased his receiving yards every year. Last season he had 184 and he already has 289 through 6 games. So I'll be interested to see how he builds on this start. In week 6, Micah Parsons played 28 snaps at off-ball linebacker, which is a season high, and he only had 18 pass rushing snaps, which is a season low. So it was somewhat of a quiet game from a statistical perspective, but seeing him drop back in coverage and make a pass breakup like this just reminds me of that 5 to 6 week stretch to start his rookie year before the Cowboys knew how good of a pass rusher he could be. Micah Parsons was looking like a slam dunk pick purely as a linebacker. I think at this point, Micah Parsons has established himself as the best edge rusher in the NFL. But as he goes on to set pass rushing records throughout his career, keep in mind that he could probably be an elite middle linebacker as well. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. Also, let me know in the comments any players or topics that you'd like me to discuss.